Welcome back, everyone. We hope you had some time to stretch your legs, grab a drink, and process the unimaginable brilliance of the first group of founders. We are now going to dive into the second half of Demo Day, and there are still 6 amazing companies to hear from. So don't go anywhere. We are kicking it off right. Waldo Moraga, CEO of Eco2Mix, is tuning in from Fresno, California. And all I will say is that he has doubled the size of his already appreciable revenue run rate during a global pandemic with 0 churn. This is an exceptional operator and a superb product. Waldo, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ellie, and hello, everyone. My name is Waldo Moraga, CEO and founder of Eco2Mix, and I want to share with you how we grow this company 4x year over year in the last 5 years with the only 100% sustainable water pH control system in the market. We start Eco2Mix looking for a better way to help farmers to deal with the high pH and high bicarbonates in the water they use to irrigate their crops. High pH water means less nutrient availability for the plants, so they are wasting fertilizers. It's also responsible for clog emitters, and that means less water distribution along the field, so they are wasting water. It's also forms scaling pipes. More scale, more energy needed to pump water, so they are wasting energy. All of these problems leads to more production cost and less yield year over year if they don't do something to fix it. What are farmers doing now? They're injecting liquid sulfuric acid directly to the main lines, or they burn sulfur and mix that sulfur dioxide gas using a sulfur burner. These alternatives are dangerous, toxic, and expensive. They are completely unsustainable and is not good for the soil biology or the environment. A better and proven solution is Eco2Mix. We make carbonic acid on site in a fully automated and remote control solution. In Eco2Mix, we are mimicking nature. Our patent-protected technology is 100% sustainable. We mix CO2 and water in a highly efficient process to produce the necessary carbonic acid. And the most important thing, it's safe for the people and good for the environment. We provide the right water pH while helping soil biology and soil structure to be a better place to grow food. Eco2Mix is a complete water pH treatment service. We install our proprietary Eco2Mix technology that includes maintenance, calibration, and operation. We provide the tanks and supply the CO2 gas, everything for around $100 per acre per year. If you compare our solution with the dangerous and toxic competitors, we offer up to 50% savings with no upfront cost for the customer and all the benefit of using an eco-friendly technology. We have a 100% recurring revenue business model. We start Eco2Mix in 2016 with 1 pilot. Now we have 32 units installed, treating water pH for more than 9,000 acres here in California and 800,000 revenue and ARR revenue. Our target market is now more than 4 million acres of high-value crops in California. That is a $400 million market size. We expect it to have by the end of 2025 around 1,400 units installed, representing 10% of the market. The rest of the United States represent more than $1.6 billion in ARR. Eco2Mix can be the perfect solution for another $3 billion market in the US, like cooling towers. The carbonic acid is the only non-corrosive solution. Wastewater. We can treat water pH for more than 4 billion gallons of wastewater treated here in California per day. Industrial processed water. Right pH with less chemicals. We can treat water pH for more than 2 million acres of golf courses. We just incorporate to our portfolio a 27-hole golf course here in Bakersfield, and this is our first non-ag customer, and we're very excited with this new project. To make this possible, we put together a team of professionals with more than 80 years of combined experience in the ag and water industry. We have enough background to reach the market fast, solve customer needs, and keep that 100% customer retention since we start the company. In 2018, we raised $350,000 from an angel investor, and now we are in a seed round for a total of $2.5 million. $1.5 million now to expand our sales team, marketing, education, and operations, and $1 million in January 2022 for working capital until we reach break-even. Eco2Mix is the only system in the market that solves water pH problem without the hazards and liabilities of the mineral acids. Thank you.
Thank you, Waldo. Up next, we have Tyler Hankey, CEO of Ziptility, who is dialing in from Bloomington, Indiana. Tyler and his team are improving the lives of utilities everywhere. I will let him tell you how the company is bringing management of utility field crews into the 21st century in a seamless manner. Their customer testimonials really do say it all. Tyler, take it away.
Thanks, Ellie. This is Danny. He's worked for the water utility in his hometown of Spencer, Indiana for almost 30 years. He's helped install almost 100 miles worth of water main and personally responded to more than 2/3 of their breaks. He knows everything about his system and always makes himself available to those who don't. But, like almost 50% of his peers, Danny wants to retire in the next 2 years. Without Danny, Spencer knows very little about their buried infrastructure. Spencer has no digital records, and most of their paper maps are so out of date that they haven't been used in years. They are not alone. Because more than 90% of America's 70,000 wet utilities are small teams like Spencer's, and because GIS, CMMS, and other utility management tools have historically required big teams to assemble and manage them, most small utility organizations still rely on shoddy paper drawings or memory to keep track of their aging distribution and collection systems. As you might expect, this can be super problematic. Forgotten assets are often damaged during construction projects or left to rot and contribute to our country's alarmingly high 16% average water loss. Even when emergencies are reported quickly, responses may take multiple days if critical valves are lost, paved over, or unexpectedly broken. As a silver tide sweeps over the industry, we can expect retiring operators like Danny to take important institutional knowledge with them and make these problems much worse. Ziptility makes it easy for any utility to bring themselves into the 21st century. Our software is built specifically for utility workflows, is designed to be used in the field by utility workers, and requires no existing software or technical expertise. Ziptility helps make everyday customer service and maintenance tasks easier for those that do them, with or without any legacy GIS data. In turn, field workers use the tool selfishly and collect critical asset information almost without noticing along the way. Our 33 utility customers in 6 states tell us that they love it and are willing to pay for it. Last month, we sold a $4,000 contract to a community of less than 500 people halfway into their trial. The month before, we had a team of 2 collect 1,300 assets in their first 33 days on our platform. This week, a superintendent at a city of nearly 100,000 purchased Ziptility to replace his GIS department and nearly 6 figures worth of enterprise software. In every case, our customers buy Ziptility because it empowers the guys and girls closest to the infrastructure to collect more, better data, faster and more easily than ever before. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Though we're thrilled with the reception Ziptility has received with utility managers, we recognize that the utilities themselves are a small part of a much larger opportunity. In an industry with nearly $80 billion a year in operating expenditures, less than 20% of American water and wastewater workers are actually employed inside of a utility organization. The rest are contracted engineers, excavators, utility locators, and more, all of whom work on the same infrastructure, but know less about it and need their own productivity tools. Starting next quarter, Ziptility will leverage the same, no IT department necessary, purpose-built approach to sell software that connects the entire wet utility industry into a single system of record. Ziptility's shared workspaces will make it easy to create focused, project-specific experiences and share information safely between stakeholders without worrying about complicated licensing or outdated file types. With workspaces, engineers can collaborate remotely with customers or colleagues and bring in new revenue by selling data collection and managed services to small utilities whose lack of technical infrastructure used to make them inaccessible. Excavators will be less likely to damage buried assets when every team member is given access to up-to-date maps, and will get paid faster by submitting real-time digital pay requests and change orders. Ziptility will get smarter over time, slowly assembling an infrastructure graph that makes us more appealing to new users and helps build a moat to shield us from competitors. But we can't do it without help. Ziptility is raising a $300,000 seed extension now to help us reach cash flow break-even next spring. We're also looking for 2 more engineering partners to help us design the future through our preferred beta program. If you're interested in either and would like to get in touch, please email me at tyler@ziptility.com. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Tyler. We are now moving across the pond to the UK, where Suhail Zulfiqar, COO of Data Technics, is based. I know it's getting late there, but luckily he's a serious night owl. Suhail has been such a joy to work with this year, and his customers agree. He has really made a name for himself in the UK, working with big utility players, including United Utilities, and has paved the way for Data Technics to seamlessly transition into their next phase of development. Suhail, I'll let you take it from here.
Thank you, Ellie, and thank you to everyone for attending today. There's an ease with which we're able to access water in developed economies that makes it so, well, easy to take it for granted, but we would be remiss to continue to do so. In those economies in particular, our water infrastructure is old and coming to the end of its useful life. Utilities, all too familiar with the pressures of increasing demand, shrinking budgets, and rising numbers of mains failures, are doing everything that they can to react to those failures and keep our taps flowing. But just how bad is a problem of aged water infrastructure? Well, there are 2 trillion gallons of water lost through mains bursts in the US year on year at a cost of $10 billion of potential revenue. Indeed, what ASCII calls chronic underinvestment in US water infrastructure is so bad that US households will pay around 7 times more in 20 years than they presently do for their water and wastewater services. And underinvestment in water networks will cumulatively wipe off $2.7 trillion in American GDP by 2039. Our water infrastructure is in a dire state, and if one thing's clear, it's that we cannot go on as we are. So investment is clearly needed, but where to invest? Reacting to failure leaves us not much better off than where we are today, and there needs to be some reliable, methodical approach to determining the condition of our mains at scale. And this is actually the real problem. We don't have a mechanism for understanding the evolving nature of infrastructure over time. There are an abundance of retrospective techniques to analyze a pipe's health, but nothing which allows us to continuously track deterioration as it's happening and intervene with an optimization or repair before failure. I'll try and bring this point to life. Say you want to try and monitor a main over a number of years, and at the moment, the state of the art is to use pressure monitoring and infer pipe condition. This is problematic for the simple reason that, putting aside transients, generally a pipe's operating pressure pretty much stays static. But during that time, the structural integrity of the pipe clearly isn't static. Deterioration is occurring. And this is why we're still reacting to failure as an industry and not preempting it. Industry standard practice dictates that we monitor what goes through the pipe rather than the pipe itself, even though that's what we're primarily interested in. In short, the technology to monitor a pipe's health over time hasn't been available to utilities. So, at Data Technics, we felt like we should change that and built CIPS, the Critical Infrastructure Pipeline Protection System, an IoT system which monitors the actual structure of the pipe and uses this data to assess pipe health and forecast asset lifetime. To do this, we install sensors to measure the stress exerted on the pipe and send this data into the cloud, where it's benchmarked against the pipe's elastic limit, the point beyond which it will fail. We then present an easy-to-understand, graded score which utilities can track over time. In other words, with CIPS, utilities have a tool with which, for the first time, they can actually quantify how what is happening on the network impacts the lifetime of the pipe itself. And how does this financially generate OPEX efficiencies for utilities? We estimate that on average for a given pipeline, CIPS can extend the operational lifetime by 2 to 3 years, which works out in the US to about $150,000 of additional value from the pipe, without accounting for the reputational, environmental, regulatory, or other such indirect benefits. That's a 10x return on investment with just our health forecasting tool. This is a really exciting time for Data Technics, and we're keen to try and support as many utilities as possible. This is what we're doing for the largest utility in the UK, United Utilities. When I last spoke at Demo Day in March, we had just started deploying for UU, and our installations were put on pause due to the pandemic. Since then, in spite of the coronavirus, I'm really proud to say that our senior management team, who have years of experience across water, business, and technology, have worked really hard to push the business forward. In the last 6 months alone, we've hired a new team member, won funding from the UK government for a 3-year project with South West Water and the University of Exeter, formally partnered with one of the world's largest civil engineering firms in Mott MacDonald, and really excitingly, in August, we were able to resume fieldwork for UU, resulting in the completion of the world's first digitized pipeline with SIP sensors. We want to build on this success and are ready to support customers with pilots to demonstrate the benefits of predictive maintenance to the sector. For all the utilities in attendance today, I want to stress that at Data Technics, our goal is chiefly to make your life easier by empowering you with high quality, reliable data on the performance of your assets, and to help you deliver an even better water and wastewater service to your customers. Another near-term priority of ours is growth, and so we're hiring a number of hardware, civil and data engineers. If you'd like the chance to join us on our grand mission to eliminate sudden bursts altogether and reduce system losses, then please do check out our website. Our routines, working practices, commute into work, relationships, everything in these last few months has had to adapt. And there's a sense that the world's never quite going to go back to the way that it was. The pandemic has caused all of us to rethink the old world, and this is as true for water as in any other facet of our lives. So we have a real opportunity to change the way we understand and operate our key assets. The shift towards digital water that has been gathering pace for several years now is being understood as the primary mechanism by which we secure the long-term resilience of our infrastructure. The old way of waiting for failure and underinvesting will no longer work. In that sense, at least the literature from academics and engineers is consistent. Remote monitoring of assets with high-quality data to drive high-quality predictions, to unlock greater OPEX efficiencies, and make more data-driven investment decisions is how we secure tomorrow's water. Thank you.
Thanks, Suhail. Off to bed you go. We were supposed to move to Albuquerque, New Mexico next, but it seems like Craig Beckman, CEO of Aqua Membranes, has decided it would be more fun to join us from Maui. For the next 5 minutes, we can all envy his tropical vacation while we learn about membrane technology. Craig is a seasoned entrepreneur, and everyone has benefited from having him in the 2020 cohort. He is another one of the founders to close a funding round during COVID. I will let him share all the progress he and his team have made this year. Craig, over to you.
Thanks, Ellie. My name is Craig Beckman. I'm the CEO of Aqua Membranes. We're a technology company based in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and we are turning reverse osmosis on its head. RO technology is used for thousands of applications, everything from baby food to crude oil. However, it comes at an extreme cost, and that's waste. In fact, extreme waste. 160 billion gallons a day is processed through the technology, and to get that much volume, we have to burn 1.8 million tons of CO2. We waste 30 million elements a year into landfills, and we dump 10 billion buckets of water down the drain. Why? Great question. The reason is inferior technology. For 50 years, membranes have been made the same way. We use the same rolling technology, the same spacer where the water flows, and that is the Achilles heel. You can see the spacer pictured here. Lots of scale and biofilm form on that spacer where the water flows. Aqua Membranes has a solution. Printed spacer technology. What we do is very simple, but impactful. What we can do is actually print a resin right on the membrane surface and replace that mesh spacer that's been our Achilles heel for years and years. This technology allows us to save carbon, to reduce plastics going to the landfill, and to save enormous water down the drain by improving the performance of the technology. For example, energy savings. This is a graph that shows mesh spacer, which everybody else uses, and our printed spacer. You can see here there's a 55% reduction in the wasted energy associated with the technology. This is just from the idea or the ability for the water to move more easily through the membrane package because of our spacers. In addition, another customer value that's been really popular is increased capacity. So this is the idea that you already have an existing RO system or an asset like this. This, for example, is a seawater system from Nyrobox, and today has a capacity of about 1,500 cubic meters a day or 400,000 gallons a day. With our technology and a thinner feed spacer, we can increase that production just with a swap out of elements. It's a 50% increase. And for their system, with average pricing, that would lead to over $500,000 of increased revenue. Customer savings on CapEx and OpEx can be enormous. Here's two examples. One where it's an OpEx savings because of the reduced energy. For this customer, it's a $200,000 a year savings. And on CapEx, because we can make our skids smaller with more packing density, we reduced, for this example, $1.8 million. We feel this savings will drive enormous adoption and acceleration of the technology. Right now we're going to market with 3 of our own products. So we're doing direct sales with 3 brands, Arctic, Free Flow, and Conserve. And these are different value propositions for customers that might have cold water and their systems slow down in the winter, or they just want more output, the Free Flow element, or they would like lower operating cost. And this is where we bring the Conserve element. In addition, the technology works well with partners. We're working now with Pentair and Concord Enviro. We just announced an investment by Clean Energy Ventures. The company is now fully funded. We've completed our A series. Clean Energy Ventures is a fund focused on clean technologies, and their criteria for every investment is the potential of 2.5 gigatons of greenhouse gas emission migration through the technology. We have an experienced team that just keeps getting better. We've added a member from Clean Energy to our team, as well as a new board member, Samrat. And with this team, we have enormous background and experience both in building companies and leading through exits. So how can you help us reduce waste? It's easy. First, run a trial. If you have a membrane system, we'd love to talk to you about trialing and using the technology. Second, recommend somebody else. If you know somebody else that has a technology that could use us, please recommend us. And lastly, let's just keep the conversation going. Thanks for your time. Please contact us if you want more information.
Thank you, Craig. You can go enjoy the beach now. Our world tour continues in Sweden, where Isabella Palmgren, CEO of Mimbly, is presenting from. Isabella and her all-star team are thriving every time I speak to them, but have remained so humble about all of their customer and investor traction this year. I guarantee you will understand what I mean by the end of this presentation. Isabella will have you wondering why her technology isn't yet a universal standard. Isabella, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Ellie. Hi, my name is Isabella Palmgren, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Mimbly. Did you know that 25% of the average water consumption in a household actually goes towards laundry? All of this warm water is then released into the sewer, filled with microplastics. And one single wash can release 9 million of these tiny, tiny plastic fibers. They're released from everything that you wear that is synthetic. They go through the treatment plants and end up in our oceans. And looking at the microplastics in the oceans, 35% actually comes from laundry. They get eaten by plankton and fish, and then in the end by you and me. And we eat about a credit card worth of microplastics every single week. Well, at the same time, 5 billion people are experiencing water stress every year. So that's where we're doing Mimbly, and we create sustainable laundry solutions. And it started with us asking us the question if we really need drinkable water to clean our clothes. Well, the answer is, of course, no. We need clean enough water to clean our clothes. And we developed the Mimbox, which is an add-on water recycling system for professional laundry machines. It recycles up to 70% of the water. It filters out these microplastics, and we also save energy by keeping the heat in the system, so you don't have to heat up the water as much for your next wash. It works independent of brand or size of machine, but we attach the 2 machines at the same time to maximize the savings. And this is how the Mimbox actually works. So you attach it to the water that goes in and out of the laundry machines. It goes through our patented filter, and then we analyze the water to see what it contains. If the water falls outside of our parameters, we throw it into the sewer, but it's already been filtered for microplastics. But if it falls within our parameters, we can store it inside of the system, and then we can use it for the next cycle, or the next wash, or even the next day, since we have an antimicrobial system inside. The filter itself empties all of these microplastics into a separate container that you then throw in the trash, so you avoid that the microplastics go into the water mainstream. The Mimbox is also connected, so you as a user can log in and see how much you're saving, both in water, energy, and in money. But you can also see if the Mimbox is on, so if the laundry room is being used, and so on, and compare your different laundry rooms. Because our customers usually have several laundry rooms or several laundry machines, we work with facility management companies and housing companies. We have currently signed on 22 of the biggest real estate owners in the Nordics to be part of our next upcoming pilot. And they together have around 11,000 laundry rooms. This is a big pilot that we're starting now in about 2 months. And the business model varies between these different customer groups. So the facility management companies, they buy this as a service and pay every month, while the housing companies, they pay for the Membox itself and then they pay extra for the data. The return of investment varies depending on where you live, but on average, this is based on the Nordics and Europe, where we're based, is around 4 years. But it depends on how much water you use and how much water actually costs in your municipality, and with an average price of $3,000. We're currently a team of 4. My co-founders Emil and Nicholas are both engineers, and I met them at Chalmers University of Technology in Gothenburg, Sweden. And Robin joined the team about 2 years ago. And we're now doing this big pilot in Sweden to be able to product launch the Membox next year. And I'm very happy to announce that we just got a big grant from the EU of 1.85 million US, which is going to help us actually start production and be able to release the Membox next year, before we can start looking into European expansion and then outside of Europe after that. And the goal for us is also to take this technology and put it inside of laundry machines, or maybe only making the filter inside of a laundry machine, so that we can spread this technology around the world and save even more. Because the goal for us has always been to have a big impact. And to be able to have a really big impact, you need to have a lot of products out on the market. And for us, if we have 30,000 Memboxes out on the market, we would save 1,800 tons of microplastics, 45 million cubic meters of water, 114 gigawatt hours of energy, and also save 47,000 tons of CO2. While at the same time also having a revenue of $90 million US. And this is what we want to do with Membly. So join us in revolutionizing the laundry industry. Thank you.
Thanks, Isabella. And last but most certainly not least, we have Ian Dormal, Executive Vice President of EcoSpheres. He is joining us from Orlando, Florida. The company has made leaps and bounds this year. With such a lean team, they have an amazing capacity to land and deliver major projects. I will let Ian tell you how their technology is revolutionizing the groundwater remediation industry. Ian, bring us home.
Thanks, Ellie. And thank you for all the folks at Imagine H2O for putting on this amazing event. 94% of fish tissue sampled in U.S. rivers and streams by U.S. EPA contain polychlorinated biphenyls, otherwise known as PCB contamination. PCBs are a class of man-made chemicals that were once used in transformer oils, paints, lubricants by the power, manufacturing, and utility industries. In 1979, the US EPA banned PCBs for their cancer-causing properties and its toxic impact on public safety, health, and the environment. Due to the persistent nature of PCBs are one of the most widespread contaminants in the world. And almost 100 years later, why are PCBs still widespread? It's because current remediation methods are costly and ineffective. Incineration is costly and creates excessive CO2 into the air and causes toxic byproducts like dioxins. Dig and haul is an unsustainable method that only transfers the toxic liability to someone else's backyard. Hi, my name is Ian Dormal, Executive Vice President and co-founder of EcoSpheres, a clean tech innovation company ushering in the carbonless future of environmental cleanup. At EcoSpheres, we imagine a world where every human being has access to clean water, clean food, and clean air. I'll be highlighting 2 of our clean water technologies for everyone at IH2O's audience today. Our first technology is Spheres. It is an in situ remediation technology that removes toxins like PCBs, dioxins from the waterways without harming the ecosystem like dredging does. EcoSpheres has the exclusive license of this Spheres technology, and that was developed at NASA. And Spheres is a series of plastic spikes placed into a scalable mat liner that is then installed into the waterway. When it's pressed down into the sediment layer, it absorbs and extracts those toxins like a sponge from the contaminated pore water and sediment into the plastic and into the interior reagent. What makes Spheres so unique is that it permanently extracts and eliminates those toxins on site, eliminating the need to dredge, dig and haul, and or burn the contaminated sediment. Our second water technology is an ultraviolet advanced oxidation peroxide reactor, which is a pump and treat technology to destroy toxins like PCBs 1,4-dioxane, and other persistent organic pollutants from groundwater and wastewater forever. What makes our UV reactor so unique is that it utilizes proprietary anti-fouling lens technology patented by Violet Defense Technology. Our clean solutions are eco-friendly and cost-effective. We also cut client costs up to 30% on total project costs using virtually no water, and we reduce carbon emissions up to 75% as compared to dig and haul and incineration. Let's talk about market size. According to the United Nations, 14 million tons of PCBs throughout the world has yet to be destroyed. This represents only 17% of the total outstanding PCBs remaining, meaning 83% of the PCBs that are stockpiled have yet to be destroyed. And this represents a fantastic opportunity for us currently because we are the only cost-effective and eco-friendly solution to eliminate PCBs. As a result of this unmet need, PCB remediation market is large and unmet due to the lack of innovative solutions. Also, the global environmental remediation market spends roughly $123 billion a year, and to date, this continues to grow as new and emerging contaminants keep being released into the environment. So our business model, our financial model is currently based on a revenue sharing model with consulting and distribution partners that will later evolve into a licensing-based model. Over the course of the past 3 years, we've obtained significant traction with names that matter by partnering with environmental consultants and responsible parties to help deploy our solutions in industries such as manufacturing, chemical, ports, and wood treating sites. EcoSphere's project opportunity delivers a blended gross margin of above 70% and removes the environmental liability off our client's balance sheet forever. Our project opportunity starts with a sub 100K treatability study program, followed by an on-site pilot program with our deployment partners to scale the engineering design and finalize cost for a full-scale remediation program. EcoSphere's team is made up of passionate innovators and scientists with over 80 plus experience of combined expertise in environmental and analytical chemistry, engineering, and business development and leadership. Our team is uniquely well-resourced to grow and scale the company's business model. In order to do that, we need to deliver on existing contracts and grow into new markets. EcoSpheres is raising a Series A, and we are actively seeking a lead investor focused on impact that will help us usher in the carbonless future of environmental cleanup. Please email me at ian@ecospheres.com with any questions. Thank you.